Donald Trump,
Didn't he?
the president, uh, president was, like
About to get
mind
some
his business, trying to
shrimp.
enjoy the government shutdown ending, right?
That's supposed to be
Which
nothing. Get some
should
shrimp.
that should be a good
I'm
guy.
about to do it now. So yeah. Hey.
Shut down ended and everything. And so, he got signed the thing and he passed it back in the office and said, and the night before, it looks like the House released these three emails that were from Epstein's estate. So it's different. It's different from like if something was subpoenaed. It's not like something that was like sealed and then is being released. This I think works differently where it's just from the estate, right? And so then they release these three emails, and the three emails are not they're not Epstein talking to Trump. They're Epstein talking about Trump. It is chunky salsa. Authentic. Bold flavor.
Sure.
Chunky salsa. Mexican is Elvis. Don't let your vacation rental and it's full. Be invisible. Get seen, get booked on Booking.com. Choose to feel it. The Mazda CX-5, engineered to give you effortless control. Every time I open that spreadsheet, my soul left my body. I have that too, but I switched to Hydra. What should have been.
I don't know who's in the tears on it.
Alright, the best way I can describe what happened is I went to a birthday party, and at this birthday party were a bunch of different friend groups. Like, not, I shouldn't say a bunch, like two friend groups, but I don't know if you've ever had this in your life where you have this person who you're friends with who has a bunch of friends, and then you have this other person you're friends with who has a bunch of friends, but it's enough people in general, whether it's because of or because of work, or it's enough people in general that the people that know them, eventually there's an overlap of people who are friends with this person, but hate each other. Like they hate each other, or they hate the other friend, but they're part of this friend group, the other friend, right? So I was at one of those birthday parties. I was at a birthday party for someone, and the person who hated him the most came to the birthday party. They came because they were invited by our least thoughtful friend, and so having no awareness, least thoughtful friend invites them to the surprise party, and so then we're all like, "Hey, surprise!" And they see this person, they were surprised, and then everybody's waiting for something to pop off that nothing ever did, because they hate each other, like they hate. It's under. It's below the heart. It's behind and underneath. They hate from like the diaphragm. I said they hate so much. Anyway, so they hated the birthday boy a lot. Like, ooh, I wish I hated it. And so then they bring out the cake, and the cake got like a one inch every year. It's enough candles to light up a room, and put it down birthday boy to blow them all out. They cut up the cake, we're all chatting and everything in different rooms and stuff. And then the one hates him, right? Leans over to me and says, before everybody, sing the person before, they fly out the cake and stuff. I thought it was the cake. In my head, I was like, Ed? Level of power that you say on. And that is what the House Dems did to Trump on this day. It's supposed to be, it's not his birthday, it's a good day. Shut down Sunday. It's supposed to be good for, it's supposed to be a good day. And so then you see in these emails, they're just not good at all. And it's not like, this is why I would be mad about Trump. Because it's not even Epstein talking to Trump, it's Epstein talking about Trump, right? So it's the equivalent of like, you at home. You at home. You at home and your friend did something, got caught. And then your friend comes to your house with the police. Your friend comes to your house with the police and goes, hey, come on out, they got us. What do you mean us? I was at home. Because the email doesn't even like one of the main ones that was making around on the news doesn't even like implicate Trump in anything. It just implies that Trump knows something that Epstein knows about what Epstein did that is very bad. That he hasn't told any authorities, but he knows is bad, right? Which doesn't look good. It's just one of those like this is bad for everybody. It's what ooh. And I don't know how we got to this place because Epstein saga has so many episodes. There is a Marvel universe of Epstein updates. It's never over. You know, it just goes deeper. And then this is what the Republicans come out. The Republicans are like, all right, but why were the Dems sitting on these emails? Why are they releasing them now? That's pretty convenient, right? Like, why are you farting in birthday cake? And then I suppose to try to show transparency, to try to be like we're actually the party that wants to get to the bottom of the Epstein thing the most, the Republicans release 20,000 pages. 20,000 pages. I don't know if I've sent 20,000 emails in my life. 20,000 like emails, these pages of Epstein talking about everything, talking about Trump, talking about like Larry Summers, talking about like it's so much. It's so much. It makes you wonder, whoa, why 20? It almost felt like they were like, you know what? Release 20,000. You know people don't read. You know they won't read it, and it turns out people are pretty interested in reading. It turns out if it's an interesting enough novel, people will dive deep into the reading. Because we're in a stressful time where it doesn't feel like things fully matter. Like there used to, okay, back in the day, there was shame. So like, Like if you were in public office, if you were in public office and you um, did something or somebody accused you of something, or like sometimes it didn't even have to be anything. There was enough shame that you would resign or you would retire from politics in shame because we had shame. Like people had more shame, right? And I don't know. I'm not gonna blame all of it on like social or influencer culture or anything like that. But we have more people than ever that we know about in our own little pockets, right? We have more people than ever that are involved in scandals. It used to be if you were in a scandal, you were either a politician or like a Hollywood celebrity. Those were really the only people who could even get into a scandal. But now you could just be an influencer, and not and like even more specific, you can be like a makeup influencer, and you get into a scandal that only affects the people who watch you, right? And so now we're watching more people than ever try to navigate having a scandal, which also made scandals more normal. And so now instead of looking to how we would all expect someone in a scandal to react, we look at how the person reacts. So you can go back in time, like all Nixon did was listen to some tapes. Like when you really someone else would guess the spy, blah blah blah. But it's like Nixon himself, like just Nixon, listened to a garbled tape that was of no consequence really. It was like that man resigned over and I know he did plenty of other stuff besides it. I'm just saying, like, the thing that when we think of Watergate, when people even really think about what Watergate is or what it meant to people, it was like it was the scandal of like the government spying and like how the opposition treats each other and everything like that. But when you really look at Nixon, I'm not talking about Nixon at all. I'm literally just saying that when I watched the documentary, it sounded like he resigned over. And he left. Left. And now there's like a scam. There's something happening. And obviously everybody puts it on Trump specifically, and he is our version of it. But it was happening all around the West before this. Like it was bubbling up. Everything is now revolved around this man. It was something that was happening in lots of different places where politicians were realizing how much they could stress test the trust of the general public. Right? Like you even look at Canada with Rob Ford. Rob Ford was the mayor of Toronto, and Rob Ford smoked crack on camera. This man didn't just smoke crack on camera. He smoked more crack than I've ever seen anybody smoke on camera. He smoked crack on camera so many times that I think he is the most crack smoke taped person of all time. Lots of crack. And he'd get drunk too. And it would be like, who set up the camera? I guess Rob Ford. Like it was scandal after scandal. It was stuff he would say. It was videos that would come out. It was stuff that he would say. It was videos that come out. It would just be over and over and over again. He wasn't like turning some new leaf. He was just one of the first people that when they came to him, they were like, were you smoking crack? And he was like, I was not smoking crack. Then in the next video came out, he's like, oh, it's delicious. Like, I can't tell you how much crack he was smoking. And just never seen somebody smoke crack like it was candy, right? And like, this is okay. Look, maybe this may be wrong with me, but when I was watching the documentary about him smoking the crack and stuff like that, before they revealed that there were tons of crack tapes, like a ridiculous amount of crack tapes. I don't know if anybody watched all the crack tapes. He has that many, right? But before they revealed that he actually did smoke crack, when he was denying smoking the crack, I was like, I don't know if this dude did this. Like, sure, he's like brash, and sure, he's like, this like wild character. I definitely believe he was getting drunk, and they even showed a video of him drunk. I didn't believe the crack because I had never seen. Do you know what I mean? I just never seen such a heavy set crackhead. You know what I mean? Like you were. I'm just saying, like he had that plausible deniability from me because every crackhead I'd ever seen was petite. You know what I mean? Like I'm all right, fine, whatever. some of y'all get weird, but you know you've never seen somebody smoke crack and have a cheeseburger. That is not something that happens within the same 5 minutes. No one has crack for dessert. And he was one of the first people. Like, he was actually a little bit pre-Trump, right? People forget about him, but he was. And they came to him, and they were like, aren't you going to resign in shame? And he was like, I don't even really feel any shame. No, I think I'm good. I think I'm just going to stay. And we still, as a people, in every country this happens in, don't know what to do with that. We don't. We, like, that happens, and we're like, oh, I thought you would have some shame. And I was like, no, I don't have any shame. I have pride, and it's delicious. Truly, when I tell you, sometimes I can even feel the shame creeping up, but like, shame and crack never meet. They're never in the same room together. So if you be feeling that shame creeping in and you hit a little crack, shame seems to disappear. No. Because now you look at like with like influencer culture, there used to be this thing, like let's take it all the way back, right? Let's take it all the way back to maybe like the 80s or 90s, where if a tape came out of you, some sort of lewd act, it was immediately shameful. It was like immediately the thought process around it. I'm not even saying whether or not that's right. I'm saying that's what people did. Okay? And now you fast forward to today, and something will leak, maybe some news leak, maybe a video thing leaks, and then we wait for the person to react to know if we feel shame for them. Or we try to shame them. It's all based on their reaction. We look to them to know what to do next. So if something happens, if a tape goes out, if some news leak or something like that, and the person's like, oh yeah, that's what I look like. We're like, oh, okay. Wow. And not across the board. I'm just saying that becomes the sort of general understanding. But then if that person's reaction is, oh no, you saw me naked. You'll be like, oh, we did.
Just open upset.
And so then these 20,000 pages come out, and wow, also not good. Not good at all. Because it's not just other times they hung out, other things, other. It's also like Epstein talking real nasty
Yeah, we dumping it all.
about Trump.
We dumping
This
it
is,
all.
look, some of it is before they broke up, and then some of it is after. And there have been plenty of people that say, hey, listen, this guy who is no longer friends with Trump talking bad about Trump after they're not friends anymore, what's that supposed to mean? You know, why should that even matter? And it's like, look, I understand where you're coming from, but if it's talking about anything that happened while they were still friends, while they hung out to somebody, that does mean something. That does matter, you know? And he was talking wild about Trump. Even saying stuff like, I'm the only one that could bring him down with the stuff I know. And this is me. Alright? I'm not friends with Epstein. Glad I wasn't. Okay? But I'm just saying, if it was me and Epstein was talking this reckless about me over email with all these people, I'd probably be very upset. I'd get very mad. I'd probably get mad to kill him in a cell. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm saying that's what I might do. Me. I'm saying that's what I might do, but I'm petty. You know? I let you stay in my house and everything. You talking crazy about me in these emails? No. gotta go. This could be a missing minute in the video. Because that's also what's wild. That's where we left off, you know? Remember where we left off where there was they released the video and it was hours long and it was missing the most important minute it could miss. Yeah. Remember when there were like no files? Remember when Pam Bondi was like, look, there's no files. Don't listen to your memory. I know what I said before, what I'm saying now is more important. There's no files. Isn't it more convincing that there's no files than there's files? And we're all like, what is she talking about? It's bad. It's bad. You know what's so crazy? You know what's so crazy to me about a lot of this stuff is that this is Trump we're talking about. Trump was on trial in New York for like, I don't know, some like real estate fraud or whatever. And this dude, it wasn't looking good. It was looking like he might, you know.
Of course, I took the deals off,
and
right?
the judge had to give him a bunch of warnings. The judge's over here like, you need to stop talking about this case to the media. You need to stop talking about me to the media. Stop. I don't know what else he was doing. Like, stop doxing the stenographer. What? Like, stop. Just stop. You're talking too much. Nobody that's a defendant in any of the cases I oversee talks as much as you to the media about this case. You gotta stop. And then Trump for his part, Trump, even to his credit, I'd say, was like in danger of being held in contempt almost the entirety of the case. And the judge's like, I'm gonna hold you in contempt. I'm gonna do it. And Trump's like, do it. do it. I want to be in contempt. I bet you won't do it. And then he would tell him, don't go out there and talk to the media about this case. And then Trump would walk up to the first person with a camera phone. It could be a camera phone. He just walk up. And he was like, Judge doesn't know what he's doing. He crooked. Everybody crooked. I'm going to win in 2020. But just nonstop. That's that. You got to remember, that's the guy that we're talking about. But that's not how he's acting about this. Which means it must be bad. This dude was in court and wasn't scared. But this thing, they reached out to all of these Republicans to try to help stop this petition, right? There's this petition to release Epstein files in the House, and that petition has to go to the Senate petition, you know. But, you know, he's trying to get it stopped, trying to get it killed like now, want it killed now, right? Gotta kill it. And so he's reaching out to people who have even been vocal about the fact that they will be on board with buying the petition. Reaches out to like Nancy Mace, Lauren Boebert, Marjorie Taylor Greene.
If you start using this one free tool to make your videos, you'll never feel bad about spending $10 on an ice pop. TikTok Studio is that girl. It's made making content so much easier thanks to a new suite of editing tools, simple analytics, built-in ways to grow and track your performance. Try it today.
Coach presents the Deal Call. Shop leather styles to love at CoachOutlet.com.
And all these shows make money on a lot of real brands, like even everything is up to 70% off the fancy store prices. I got this awesome vacuum,
The good paper towels.
I got my favorite sugar. All these dumps. You won't believe what you'll find and how much you'll save.
Push.
His thing. Look, at the end of the day, maybe he did reach out because he just wanted to talk to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'll be honest with you. If you could put all politics aside in your mind and you hop on phone with Marjorie Taylor Greene, it will be interesting. You know what I mean? You'll be like, I didn't know about the lasers, Marjorie. If I was ever on phone Marjorie Taylor Greene, you know what I would do to keep her on the phone? I would every couple sentences, I just go, oh. Let her think she was blowing my mind. Throw in a really every now and again. Calls Marjorie Taylor Greene. Apparently none of them are happening. Apparently, Lauren Boebert even was pressured so much to not sign the petition. She was like, it must be worse than I thought. Y'all barely talk to me. Marjorie Taylor Greene, she didn't put a foot down. Marjorie Taylor Greene has actually really turned on Trump so much that it got Trump's attention so much that Trump has turned on Marjorie Taylor Greene, and they're beefing right now, which is hilarious. That is so funny. The idea that Trump is over here being like, y'all know Marjorie Taylor, he's over here calling her a lunatic, calling her crazy, all this like that. Like, the fact that Trump is over here like, Marjorie Taylor Greene is crazy, and we're like, we know. That's wild. For what other revelations you got? Did you know Hannibal Lecter wasn't a good guy? I'll tell you as well why Trump's not having a good week. You know, there's been interviews, and there's just been a general discontent with some of what's happening in the country. You know, Trump ran on America First. It's supposed to be Americans first. It's supposed to be America first. But what is happening? And what place is America in? It doesn't seem like there's a one in front of it. You know? Because people point to, you know, how ruthless in the shutdown things got with SNAP, how people are treated in the country, how America First just sort of feels like a slogan. It doesn't feel like it's really in the agenda. It doesn't feel like what's really happening and everything. And so then you see members of the MAGA movement turning on Trump, and maybe not fully, and maybe not forever, but it is like happening. This is swell of discontent with what he's been doing, how the country is right now. There's so many things that are supposed to be fixed on day one. You can talk as much as you want. He's very good at campaigning. He's not good at governing. But he's so good at campaigning because campaigning is before you have to. All right. One of the roughest drawbacks with dating, right, is that someone's getting to know you. They don't know you yet, and you can do your best foot forward. You can try to be the person you pretend to be, but they're getting to know you, right? And the thing is that early phase where they're getting to know you, the good stuff that happens can also hurt you in the long run. Oh, like my buddy Arnie, they had like a fun little we're gonna cook for our birthday, right? We're gonna take a little cooking class. And so they do this cooking class, and there was this jar, and she couldn't open the jar. She was trying to get the jar, trying with the jar. And you can even tell that she was kind of losing it, but finally she handed it to him, and he goes, immediately, right? Which is great. He did it. But now, you gotta be strong enough to open cars. It looked like that's what you do. No, you gotta watch out. Some of the stuff that happens that first time, you in trouble, man. You in trouble if it's the first 3 dates. And y'all get into something scary happens. Maybe somebody even tries to mug you or something like that, and you win the fight. Oh, I hope you weren't just lucky. I hope you weren't just lucky because now my man's fighting. All right, she gonna tell everybody her man fights. She might even start a couple fights for you. Oh, you want my man to come over here and handle you? In the back of your head, you're like, look, the mugger slipped in a puddle. I just grabbed the purse back. That's all I did. And like dating to being in a relationship is like what campaigning is to governing. It's wild even to watch some people's reactions. There's some people who have some truly insane and disgusting reactions, or just reactions that are meant to confuse. There's so many people that are like, why didn't the Dems release all this stuff years ago when Biden was president? And it's like, all right, this is the way that records work. There are some things that you could just release outright, like things that maybe you get from an estate or something like that. But then there are things that are part of an investigation, which as long as that investigation is going on, as long as that court case is going on, you can't just release those things to the public. Now that some of these things have been set to rest now, like, obviously like Ghislaine is in jail and everything. And then there are other parts of documents that get redacted either because they're part of a potential ongoing investigation or to protect the name of a survivor of the abuse or something like that. There's all these different reasons that you could have for when you release things on whatever schedule. But even when people make that sort of argument, I'm like, wait, I can't tell. Are you mad that they are released? Like, what? I don't even know what that's meant to accomplish. Why didn't the Dems release it sooner? It's like, all right, it's out now. Isn't that what we're talking about? That's insane. That type of logic would never hold up in like court. You'd never be able to go to court with like, look, if the police care so much, why didn't they catch me sooner? Y'all over here acting like you care. I did it a long time ago. You didn't try that hard to find me. No. You see so much of this stuff happening, and you're like, wow, every day you try to move on. Every time you try to move on, it gets worse. 20,000. And 3. 20,003 emails. And I don't know what's gonna happen, because if I'm being honest, like truly being honest with you right now, I know that one of the reasons that Trump is trying to get them to stop in the House from all signing the petition is because then it goes to the Senate, and then if enough people turn on in the Senate, it then goes to the president, and he is the president, which means he would have to end. We stopped electing people with integrity a long time ago. So like, I don't expect, like truly, I don't expect Trump to sign something that is basically dry snitching on himself. I don't think that would happen. Try humping. But I will say this, I think that there's a very slim chance that it's like Trump's gonna go to jail, or that this will be enough for everyone to turn on him and then just kick him out of office or anything. This is one of those things that is very bad. It's a very bad look. He's panicked about it. People are speculating why he's panicked about it, but it's not the thing that's gonna make him sort of like Nixon up out of here. I'm just being honest with you. And I think that it's easy to forget in all of these different chapters and all of these like extra extensions to the saga that is this sort of Epstein files, that there are real people. There are survivors of Epstein, there are survivors of Ghislaine, that are survivors of all of this abuse and trauma that deserve justice. And the thing that we can do, the thing that we just personally can do is keep that in mind and hold the people that represent us to account. Let them know that we'll be looking at them for what they do consistently, that we'll keep bringing it up, that we won't let it go away. It won't be over just because it falls out of the news cycle. It will not go away. It won't be over. And I think the only thing that we can do as individuals, but collectively together, is just keep farting in his cake as often as possible. Chattanooga, y'all been fantastic. Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Who are you looking for?
William Shakespeare.
Tell me a story.
What story would you like?
Something that moves you.
Will capture your heart. You will never let it go. Will you be brave?
Yes.
Will you be brave? Hamnet is a monumental cinematic experience.
He lives not.
And the best picture of the year. Hamnet. Rated PG-13 in select theaters Thanksgiving. In theaters everywhere December 5th.
We've gone straight in with our main story this week, which concerns public media. It's all Sesame Street, NPR's Tiny Desk concerts, and the joy of painting with Bob Ross, which was featured this exceptional.
Some little trees back in here. These little trees would be a super place. It's called, if you paint with before, you know, have all kind of little creature pets. We'll share with you our latest little squirrel. It's a little precious little thing. You have, of course, seen it on the side. You know, the pocket squirrel.
Oh my God! Peapod's the Pocket Squirrel might be the best sequence of words in the history of the English language. And a minute from moment, you thought he was talking about an imaginary squirrel there. You heard him say, these little trees will be a super place for my little squirrel, and you assumed he was referring to an animal he was about to paint, not a living rodent on his person. Even when he moved the dropper towards his pocket, a physical squirrel wasn't on your mental horizon. You just figured it was a weird paint tool that no way was a real-life fucking squirrel chilling in this guy's clothes. There is just no fucking way. What if it's shit? But have you ever been happier to be wrong? Also, fun fact, Peapod wasn't Bob Ross's only squirrel. He apparently built an enormous cage outside of his home in which he nursed orphan squirrels back to health, which is presumably why this absolute banger of a photo exists. And sorry to every living supermodel, but that is a pout. Anyway, in America, almost all public media falls under the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which until recently distributed funding to over 500 radio and TV grantees, representing more than 1,500 locally managed and operated stations nationwide. Together, the city reaches nearly 99% of the US population with free programming and services. And public media has been truly innovative in reaching underserved audiences. Public TV station that first invented closed captioning in the 1970s, and stations around the country on programming in Haitian Creole, Navajo, Vietnamese, and many other languages. But as you undoubtedly know, it is now facing a serious threat. As over the summer, Congress decided to eliminate $1.1 billion that had been allocated to fund public broadcasting for the next 2 years. It was something that Trump celebrated like this.
Public broadcasting, they've been looking to get it out of there for billions and billions of dollars. And very, very unfair. Very, very unfair report. I would say they make CNN look honest. And we got rid of it finally. We got rid of it. We kind
explain this in a precise way, but Donald Trump proudly slurring his way through another on-purpose disaster might be the scientific opposite of Bob Ross and Pete Buttigieg. In fact, if you play those two clips at the same time, I think the world might explode. But it is true, in July, Congress approves Trump's plan to eliminate the CPB's funding entirely. It's one of many egregious actions this administration is taking, which is why the number one search on Google this year is probably going to end up being, wait, can the government do that? And all of this has understandably upset a lot of people, even some that you may not have thought would be fans of public media, like this guy.
Public radio, it's a national treasure. I mean, where else would you go as a young man? I watched Ginger Baker have a drum off against the drummer for Rat. And, on Rock School on PBS. You're not going to find that on network television. And not to mention Sesame Street. I mean, look, this is Mr. Rogers gets quality programming, and it always has been, and it's a damn shame to throw it in the toilet like that.
Okay, so there is a lot to say there, but mostly the top half of him is not the problem. What are you thinking? You are thinking, I had no idea that the Berserker Blofar, lead vocalist of heavy metal band War, was such a fan of public media, but apparently he is, and it is both beautiful and confusing to watch him utter the words Mr. Rogers, as it's hard to imagine them in the same universe, although I'll say I would love to have seen War on Mr. Rogers. Blofar, you are special just the way you are. The diseased undercarriage component of absent wheeled penises makes you cute. And he is right. This cut will be felt all over, but especially in rural, remote, and tribal communities. One analysis estimates that as many as 115 stations, collectively serving 43 million Americans, are likely to close by mid-next year. And as a key to this Colorado Springs crisis, these stations experience vital community violence. Santa Claus, if you got just the right amount to the Grateful Dead, is right. Shorter, by the way, probably be public radio's new mascot, given he has the quintessential public radio voice, beard, and general vibe. Honestly, if the next NPR talk for sale does not have that man's face on it, they're leaving money on the table. The point is, public media provides incredible benefits to the communities that it serves, and it has just suffered a gigantic blow. So given that tonight, let's talk about public media, how it works, what it does, and how we go forward. Let's start with the back of the system as we currently know it, starting when LBJ signed the Public Broadcasting Act of 1967 into law, announcing it like this.
This corporation will assist stations and producers to aim for the best in broadcasting good news, broadcasting exciting plays, and broadcasting reports on the whole fascinating range of human activity. It will try to prove that what educates can also be exciting. It will get part of its support from our government, but it will be carefully guarded from government or from party control. It will be free and it will be independent, and it will belong to all our people.
Yeah, that was a bold move. One of them takes some truly enormous balls, which, as you should know from recordings that we've played, LBJ played to the head of the company that made his trousers, that the crotch down where your nuts hang is always a little too tight. He definitely had. And quick side note, you may remember a few weeks ago, we had this potentially life-size replica of LBJ's balls made and offered them to his presidential library. Well, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is we've heard from them. The bad news is they politely declined our offer, but in doing so said, please accept this basket of fruit and nuts as a token of our appreciation for all you do. This is the basket they sent. Listen to a variety of nuts and fruits, all in sets of 2 digits. Excellent. Anyway, as Lyndon Bowles George now, one act authorized the creation of the creating PBS and NPR. The CPB's role wasn't to directly produce content or oversee public media as a state arm. It was primarily to distribute funding for it, while crucially remaining independent of the government. That is why the CPB is a private, non-profit corporation. The only issue is that despite not being a government agency, it is still funded like one, since funding is embedded in the annual congressional appropriations process. And because Congress controls its funding, that's always left the CPB vulnerable to political attacks. Almost from the start, it has been a punching bag for Republicans. Just 2 years after it was created, Nixon proposed slashing its funding in half, reportedly to help meet the financial demands of the Vietnam War. So apparently, the CPB was a bad use of public money, unlike, Vietnam. That is what led to this famous moment in a hearing about the CPB's funding, when Fred Rogers addressed a skeptical senator and described what his show was all about.
This is what I give. I give an expression of care every day to each child. I help him realize that he is unique. I end the program by saying, you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are. I feel that if we in public television can only make it clear that feelings are mentionable and manageable, we will have done a great service.
It's wonderful. I think it's wonderful. Looks like they just did the 20-minute.
Wow, that is a truly heartwarming thing. That would never, ever happen today. If Mr. Rogers had given that exact same testimony this year, Ted Cruz would have called him a radical left lunatic. Fox News would have run with the headline, Mr. Rogers' socialist neighborhood. And the White House would have posted an AI video of President Trump kicking him in the balls. Well, media's funding was safe on that day. It has been threatened consistently ever since, usually with complaints about its so-called liberal bias.
Why did a small elite group of Corporation for Broadcasting that gets to spend money they didn't earn? What right do they have to dole out your money?
I think the people at PBS see themselves as social agents, see themselves as having this great forum, this great platform to push what they think will be the good society.
Is brainwashing the American people and, more significantly, American children with un-American, anti-family, pro-crime fake news.
Okay, so a few things in order. First, what right do they have to spend money they didn't earn? Applies to literally any use of taxpayer money. And also, congratulations to Newt and Felicity Gingrich on their documentary Journey to America, released this year on, guess what? PBS. Second, if you're curious why this guy is speaking on behalf of a group called Concerned Women for America, so am I. And finally, as for my Teddy Green's comment, I think we all know what she means by anti-family, but I'd love to know what PBS programming is being interpreted as pro-crime. Is the episode of Arthur where the brother gets himself into a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation? Because I guess you could argue that it inspires kids to commit potion-fueled vandalism, but I think the only real crime involved is that this song has been lodged in my brain for over 2 decades now. That song will now be in your head until the day that you die. It was my curse, and now it is yours too. Anyway, that clip is from earlier this year, here in the Green Chair, where the CEOs of NPR and PBS were questioned about why, in her words, taxpayer funds were being spent on left-wing echo chambers for mostly wealthy white urban liberals and progressives who generally look down on and judge rural America. This hearing was absurd. Again and again, members of Congress would take a tiny, out-of-context snippet, sometimes of something that aired on just one station, and demand that the heads of those organizations defend them. There is one congressman who thought he really had something.
You think that you should publish something that calls trees racist? Is it, in retrospect, should you have published that?
I'm not sure.
You
had a segment we called it was called Racist Trees, and it was we've already referenced it a number of times. So, do you think trees can be racist? I guess that's not.
I don't know what you're talking about. I've never heard of what you're referring to.
Sorry.
Well, I have, because we looked it up. It turns out it wasn't a segment about how trees are racist. It was this documentary telling the story of a historically black neighborhood in Palm Springs and their decades-long fight for the removal of a wall of trees that many believed were originally planted as a totem of segregation. So, I guess I'd answer his question of, do you think trees can be racist, with a question of my own, specifically, do you understand that the titles of movies are not always 100% literal? The Shining is not about a successful shoe polishing business, and The Wolf of Wall Street isn't about the actual wolf with a successful investment strategy. Now, should it have been? Absolutely it should, but sadly, it wasn't. And look, there can be a good faith debate over bias in the media, liberal or otherwise, but I'll point out that a lot of the time, what conservatives claim as liberal bias is often just things like showing there's a long history of racism in America, or that gay people exist, making it hard to interpret those criticisms as anything other than bigotry. And yet, arguments like those just got used to justify zeroing out the entire budget of the CPP, which is just stupid. In many places, it'll actually have the exact opposite of the intended effect. To understand why, it's worth talking about where all those federal dollars went. Because while some of the CPP's funding did go directly to PBS and NPR at the national level, the vast majority of it, more than 70%, went directly to local public radio and television stations who used it to do things like produce local programs, purchase equipment, and acquire national programming like All Things Considered and the PBS NewsHour. And for many stations, that was just one way they got funded, because none relied completely on the federal government. In fact, one survey found that on average, local public TV stations relied on federal funding for 18% of their budgets, with radio stations having an average reliance of around 14%. And a big way they've always made up the difference is through, as you undoubtedly know, viewers or listeners like you. That is why.
If you know nothing about candlesticks, this is the only video you need. I personally guarantee that you have a full understanding of candlesticks, how to trade them, and the top two candlestick patterns. And it is all you need to know. Now, before I give you guys this game and everything you need to know about candlesticks, please get this video to at least 2,000 likes plus. The more the merrier. It really helps the algorithm. Turn on your post notifications, because this right here is a beginner's course in this part of the series. So don't miss the optional trading 101, one that I did prior to this video, and you don't want to miss the support and resistance after this candlestick video. Now we're going to hop right into it, so I don't want to waste you guys' time. Now before I can even teach you candlesticks,
I don't know why that's going.
bullish and bearish. Bull strike up, bears strike down. So that is about fighting the textile of the animal. So that is why in the market, we're talking about the market, we're talking about a prolonged period of increased prices, and we're talking about the bear market. We're talking about a prolonged period of decreased prices. All right. And to give you guys a fun fact, there's a city called Chicago that has sports teams brother
Oh shit,
before, so
that's
let's
all
get right
right.
into
Shit.
how to understand candlesticks. So boom, candlesticks,
Fuck,
all
man.
right, they are originally a Japanese structure that was meant to trade rice. So if you guys want to know that part, you guys got the background of candlesticks, all right? Now we're going to hop right into it. We're not going to waste you guys' time anymore. Now, let's draw some numbers real quick. We got 13 here. 10. Let's go back. Oh, we can do that. We can run that. We got 13, we got 10, and we have, let's say 7, and then we have 5. All right? Now, when we're trading candlesticks,
I don't see how that
this
did
is about
anything.
before I get into candlesticks and all of that too, I do need to explain something. Every candlestick is represented on the time period that we're talking about. So if we're on the daily chart, this is the 1 day chart. Every candlestick you see is 1 day. Okay, and remember the stock market is from 9:30 a.m. Eastern time to 4 p.m. Eastern time. So that is what the stock market is ran off of, because New York is the hub of the stock market. Okay, we're on a 4-hour chart. Every candlestick represents 4 hours. If we're on the 1 hour chart, does not matter. Every candlestick represents 1 hour. If you just go 5 minutes, you guessed it, 5 minutes.
Feel like
Candlesticks are visual
that movie
representation
with
of what happened in
with
a
the alien,
particular time
the white boy
period.
who eat
Okay,
the
so that's
Reese's
all
pieces
it
and
is,
stuff.
visual
Let me check
representation
them out. Check
of
them out.
what happened in a particular time period. So let's keep going. Now, let's just say we're on the daily chart. It doesn't matter what time period. Remember, it's the visual representation of what happened in a particular time period. Okay? So we can go back. Now, speaking of this time period, let's just say we are on the 5-minute chart, all right, or the 1 hour chart, doesn't matter. Let's say daily. Okay. Now,
It would have been better with sauce, you know, sauce.
Okay. For one, it had
Still
to have opened here. So it opened at 7, it went as low as 5, went as high as 13, closed at 10. In the relationship between the open and close is called your real body. And in order for it to be a green candlestick, remember, the close must be higher than the opening price, correct? So that's what makes it a green candlestick, okay? So remember, the close must be higher than the open in order for it to be green.
Oh, see that?
So it went one more time. It opened at 7, it went as low as 5, and then it went as high as 13, closed at 10.
Y'all can hit that thumbs up for me.
Anything outside of the close and open the body is called shadows or wicks, but most of the time you hear people call it wicks. And then we have the opposite here, okay? So we know that it has, in order for it to be a red candlestick, the close must be lower than the opening price. So within any time period in a 5, 10, 1 hour, 4 hour, doesn't matter. It opened at 10, went as high as 13, went as low as 5, but closed at 7. So that's all this is what happened in a particular time period. And remember, it's a red candlestick. If the close is lower than the open, it's a green candlestick. If the close is higher than the open, right? Now, this is called a big green candlestick, big red candlestick. What it represents is big buying pressure and big selling pressure, okay? So that's what these represent. Now, if you guys want to do the open and close all over again, this is what we would do. We know that in order for it to be a green candlestick, it had to have opened here, it had to have went as low as here, it had to have went as high as here, and then it had to have closed here. Why? Because we understand that the close has to be higher than the opening price. For a red candlestick, we know that it had to have opened here, okay? This will always be the high point, and this will always be the low point, and this has to be the close. Why? this red candlestick. So we understand that the close must be lower than the opening price. And that's all it is. And 9 times out of 10, big red and big green candlesticks will be accompanied with a lot of volume. And volume is the number of shares and contracts traded. So now you guys understand that much. Okay. Another tip I wanted to show you guys that if you go to the trading app, all right, what you're going to see is what I just showed you guys: open, high, low, and close. You toggle this over any candlestick, and it'll show you the open, high, low, and close. All right, as you can see, it changes. You can go to any chart and type in 1D, a 1-day chart, and it will do the exact same thing. And as you guys see, we toggle the mouse over this candlestick, and what do we see? Open, high, low, and close. All right, even the green one, and it'll flash green when you're over the green candlestick. All right, so that's how you see that on Trading View. Now let's talk about doji candlesticks. Okay, so now that you guys got a gist of candlesticks, open, high, low, and close, you understand that it's a visual representation. Now we need to talk about all types of forms of candlesticks. So we're almost done. You guys are already candlestick experts already. All right, now the doji, it is when the open and close are virtually the same. Okay, so we're going to go in and show you guys what this is. So we understand that it had to have open here, okay, and it went as high as here and low as here, but it ended up closing here. All right, so it's when the open and close are virtually the same. So that's virtually a standoff, as you guys can see. All right. So in other words, it opened here, the Bears were in control. The Bulls came back to push it this high. The Bears came back in control to push it here where the open was to close this session or whatever time period it is. Now this one, same